Hey everybody, welcome back to Shoenn with Jude, part 2 of Strong Island, episode 2. Before we take it back up, the discussion with Joe, Rich, and Dean, couple programming notes. So forthcoming, we will have segments from Mission Control, where I talk about the dissertation, the doctorate pursuit, embarking on the doctorate pursuit. In about a week from now, I'll have a meeting with my 3 supervisors, Dr. Lindsay St. George, Dr. Sarah Hobbs, Dr. Jill Alexander from the University of Lancashire. We'll meet and discuss the next 6 months, sort of the program that I need to design, some of the research, what my hopes are, expectations for some of the studies that I'm going to do as part of the doctorate. So that'll take place in my office, which I call Mission Control. Additionally, something to look forward to is what we're calling Shoenn with Jude from the garage. For the motorheads out there, people interested in cars, as you know, I've highlighted the 71 911T. A couple of years back, I was able to get a 83 911 SC. That's a Super Carrera. That car was a bit of a project car, and I got it at a very fair price point. It had a little bit of a history, but it was a great driver. Done a number of my own sort of learn as you go using platforms like YouTube, changing injectors, changing plugs, changing belts, doing some regular routine maintenance, fuel filter. Reality is that particular year or those particular years, certain alloys, certain metals that they use 50 plus years later sort of break down. So unfortunately, which is fairly common for those years, some head studs broke. I was going to try to tackle the top end rebuild on my own. The reality is with everything else I got going on, it's going to be a little bit difficult to make that happen. So from the garage, you'll be not only highlighting some of the car projects that I've embarked on, that I will be embarking on. I've enlisted a guy from the area that's going to help me sort of do the rebuild. Mechanic comes recommended. I won't use any names sort of until the project is done. If it goes well and he wants the sort of the referral, I'll be happy to mention it. If he doesn't, I won't. Other things that I hope to do from the garage is talk about other people that I've come across in life, sort of their journey with cars. Maybe if they have some cool cars. I just did an interview north of the border with somebody that has a F430. Talks about his sort of dream of getting a Ferrari at some point, and things along that lines. What else could I tell you? From Mission Control, from my office, I'll also talk about I've been enlisted for the 3rd year, University of Edinburgh, where I got my master's, doing some lecturing for them. They have a master's in equine science. For those of you that are interested in sort of taking the next step, some really, really good coursework. They have a repro class, digestion and nutrition. This particular course that I'm lecturing on is Farrier week of equine orthopedics and biomechanics. So for a week, I basically answer student questions, and I do about an hour-long lecture, which I entitled "Behind the Within the Mind's Eye of the Farrier," sort of behind the scenes, what we're looking for, and some of the ins and outs of environment, impact on foot growth, some of the other things that impact balance, create asymmetries. So, and these are things I hope to cover at some point in the future, and I will cover at some point in the future. Additionally, before we pick up, well, I'm always told to remind people, please like and subscribe. Any of the content you see, you want to see more of it, You know, the likes and the subscribing is sort of what pushes the needle. Future episodes will highlight. I met with Dr. Tim Worden, a biomechanist north of the border from Toronto. We talk about some exercise physiology, some of the wearable technologies, some of the exercises that you should be considering implementing in your training. That's a great episode forthcoming. Additionally, I just came back from a Laminitis clinic in Ottawa, again, north of the border. Some great speakers, Dr. Alvaro Palacios and a Dr. Neff from Fairfield Equine. The clinic was entitled Living with Laminitis. Some things I learned, fortunately, in my practice, I don't really have to deal with a lot of laminitis. Those horses tend to go to the clinic, but they talked about some of the telltale signs the first 24, 72 hours, really a critical point that you need to enlist a veterinarian, and some of the things you should be looking for, and some of the management things that you need to do to sort of get past that sort of emergency time frame. So without further ado, part 2 of Strong Island. Joe, Dean, and Rich pick up talking about collaborating with veterinarians, and they drag yours truly. They try a couple of times, but I acquiesce. Yours truly jumps in and gives a little bit of my evolution. I had a whole other career, a whole other life before I got into shoeing, and I talk about that. So check it out. Stay tuned and like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.
I don't believe there was very few vets. There was Dr. Gilman, Manny Gilman, Dick Fredericks' father, Arthur Fredericks, and maybe one other vet. And you know what? There were more horsemen, I would think. Dick Fredericks' father hunted, rode horses. Half the vets today, you think, who do you call ever rode a horse? He wouldn't know what. Half the vets, I don't give a shit. Half the vets, they may be brilliant, but they're not horse people. They never brushed a horse. They never picked up a horse. And I blame, I don't know it's to be true, but I believe it's true. When they go to school to become a vet, there's very few classes on hoofs. I mean, maybe you guys know more. They don't spend days and weeks on hoofs. Yeah, they learn the frog, the this, the that. But and 70% of the lamenesses are in the hoof, navicular, side bones, whatever. And I don't think they know a lot about horseshoeing.
I stay humble with the vets.
Yeah, you got to.
To a certain degree.
You got to stay humble because they
you
can.
have to make a living, but also we discussed this earlier that a lot of times they're judging your work 5, 6 weeks, and like I said before, at 5 weeks that's not my trimming anymore.
Why is that problematic for people that don't?
Because they're judging a foot that's actually grown. Could grow what, quarter of an inch or so.
Like when you get your hair done. You get your hair done, it looks perfect.
Angles change. It's not the same shoeing. Look at my work a day or two after I did it.
After 2 weeks, it looks all right. After 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But get your hair done, it looks nice. 3 or 4 or 5 weeks later, it looks like shit. It's out of control, right?
I was a little wise guy to a vet one day, and I said, you do know the foot grows, right?
It's very difficult to judge a foot after the first week, whether it be a veterinarian, a trainer, a horse owner, or even another farrier. The best time to evaluate a foot is within the first week of the shoeing cycle.
And again, I don't care. I don't think half the vets and half the trainers and half the people that own horses wouldn't know a good shoeing job if it come up and set a load on. They don't know that all the angles are the same or the hoof. They look at we'll work with hoofs that disproportionate changes.
It's the culture, and culture does not change overnight. And will it get worse? Will it get better? I don't have the answer how to change a culture the way
Do you
it
think
is.
the vets?
I will say both sides we have issues with ego. I'm not saying everybody. There's a lot of good, humble people, but both sides we have some ego issues for sure. Because we do take pride. That's another thing.
Yeah. 90% of the horses I shoot for Joe Calora.
Yeah.
I shoot for mine because I have people come out. Oh, did you do my horse? They don't even know you. You know, they're novices. You know what I mean?
So
So
we need each other.
Yeah,
but I think
it's about teamwork,
We
really.
absolutely do.
Having a good a relationship with the trainers, with the veterinarians, with other farriers, and
We can learn,
yeah,
too.
it's teamwork. It's a team thing.
but
And
they
we all have
got
to come
the
together.
thing that kills you. They got the diploma, and if it comes down,
Yes.
some of the times that they got to choose between the blacksmith or the vet.
That's a good
Well,
point. It really
he's got a
is.
diploma. He must know more than Joe Calora or Dean or Rich because what are they? They're only blacksmiths. You know what I mean?
But I have some
But when
clients.
we're what do you call looking for a word. We're not a general practitioner. We're a specialist. We specialize in the hoof. You know, we should specialize in the legs too.
And maybe
Don't get me
part of
wrong.
that is anybody can go buy the tools and be a shoe. There's certifications, but it's voluntary.
I used to do, like I said, a thoroughbred farm every day, and I had a couple of big outfits. And at the time, you had to have a license to shoe at Belmont Racetrack. I couldn't go in there
Will do.
and shoe a horse. So they had tests. A couple times a year, they would give a test. So me, Dave Birdsall, and another guy, Petey New, went in to get. I got my license because the farm I worked for wanted me to go in and do an art horse. I had a reputation of doing a lot of horses a day. The guys, now to get my license at Belmont, guess who had to give me the test? The blacksmiths that worked there. So now Joe Calora's going to come in there. You got Ray Amata, Tony Amata, you got all these guys, the Campbell brothers. They're going to okay me to come in and take some of their work? What's your chances of passing that test?
So that's the problem. And
So,
then you have
of course,
government
Joe
involved,
Calora,
too.
so
I think we need
they
something
gave an hour to put 2 front shoes on a horse and to make a bar shoe. They would give you a shoe, an old shoe. You had to duplicate that shoe with a bar shoe from stock, raising the toe grab, you know, everything. And it had to fit. And the weld, back then we didn't have the gas forge, we used cold forge. Well, they did everything. If they brought a horse loaded with thrush, if you cut him and he bled, you failed. If you didn't take enough, they had you. They say, we'll let you know, we'll call you and let you know if you passed the test. I made a bar shoe. They put it on the animal. They kept beating on it until the bar broke. I failed. Me and Dave, everybody failed. They ain't gonna pass you. You're gonna. I mean, if we had Long Island sewed up and Jude wants to come here to Long Island to get a license, and he's gonna take some of the top work, what's his chances of us passing him? I mean, back then it was a little more bitter. The guys were more angrier.
Yeah.
And I took this test the second time, but I was doing the head guy for the Johnny Rotz. He was the head of the Belmont, and he stood there while I made this. My shoe was in the office, up in the office that I made. That's how nice it came out that time. Yeah. And I passed. I got my license. So after me, they changed it. You had to go up to Cornell now to get tested for the Belmont because of what they did. They screwed you. They screwed Dave. I mean, Dave can't shoe a horse. You had guys like Pat Murphy. He couldn't finish horses for me. He was a butcher. He was guys down there. Oh, you got to join the union. Come work for me. I ain't work for you.
Though there's no regulations, we have organizations, and there's the opportunities to get certified, and there's many different levels. So that's really an individual thing that each farrier can go and improve his skill and his knowledge.
And the other thing is, this business will eat you alive if you don't stay on your game. That's the one thing that kind of self-regulates it. You're gonna fall on your face if you're not.
Never want a customer to come up and say, "Hey, what do you think of them new pads?" What pads? You never want one of your clients to see it on Google it or something like that. Oh my God! But I think the blacksmiths today, I think there's a lot of really, really good blacksmiths compared to years ago. I think a lot of them learn their trade good, and there's a lot more schooling. There's a lot more clinics.
It becomes your life. Like this to me, it's like a hobby too, because I always want to learn more. You know, so I think most people that get into horseshoeing becomes their you know.
I got a question for the guy interviewing. What?
I'm not on the camera.
What made you get into the blacksmith business?
Oh, this is too long of a story. I'll save that for next time.
I had a client in Oyster Bay. He owned a barn. He said, my horse is lame. So you have to walk a thin line with the vets. I work for some of the top horse dealers on Long Island. I can look at your horse, not bragging, tell you he's got a ring bone, side bone, he's got this, got that, because that's the way I grew up. At horse auctions, we'd buy horses, and I had a horse had a flick in his eye or something. You know, in 5 minutes, I could tell you what's on that horse. So the guy comes to me, Joey, this horse is lame. I don't know what's going on. Had this vet look at him, that vet look at him, that look at him. I trying to see the old guy. I said, your horse got a high ring bone behind. The vet didn't. Got a ring bone. You can see it. Well, make a long. He took him to New Bolton. Guess what? Horse had a ring bone. 2 vets looked at the fucking horse. 2 vets looked at the horse. They didn't see a ring bone. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the vets, they're maybe brilliant, but they're not horse people.
But you know, none of us get it all right.
No, nobody gets through.
You know.
And you know what? The guy that said he never nailed one, the guy said he never cut one down, he ain't done too many horses. Right? Think about it. I tell you the truth, it's a true story. I pumped irons from the 60s. I pumped iron in Vietnam, had 18-inch arms at one time. I was really, really built. Come home, the typical story. I got married. Nice Jewish wife. Come home at night, pork chops, pound of macaroni.
Pork chops.
Macaroni, all this stuff. True story. Now, I'm watching the Yankees. They bring in a relief pitcher. Such and such comes in. He's 6'1", 182 pounds. I'm 5'7", and I'm 220 pounds. There's something wrong here. I kid you not. The true story. I went on a low carbohydrate diet. I lost 60 pounds in matter. I went to Shoe a Pony in Centerport. I knocked on the door, and the kid comes to the door, and I said, hi, I'm here to do the pony. The kid said, Mom, there's somebody different here. That's how different you look. You know,
Is that when you did the peanuts? You only ate peanuts?
I go through popcorn. I go through crazy diet. But I lost 60 pounds at one time, and I've been able to keep most of it off.
I'm of retirement age, and I'm debt-free, so it's definitely not the money that's driving me. The love of the horses, the love of the industry of shoeing horses, working with my hands, and the challenges that you face, the different cases of high-low, mismatched feet, laminitis, things like that. That is always drawing me to be challenged and just to keep moving forward. I just love the horses. I love working with my hands, and that's the main reason why I got in it in the first place.
Rich is one of the luckiest people, and I mean this complimentary. He's a really, really good horseshoer. He can take you out sailing on a boat. He can take you skiing. He can do your horse's teeth. He's multi-talented guy. Me, I shoe horses. Rich can go sailing today. He can be skiing tomorrow. He loves to travel. He's got so many things going in his life. The blacksmith business is nice, but it's not the main thing in his life. And he's like me and Dean. We're kind of like stuck because we ain't got his background. And he ran a horse farm for what's the guy that the horse whisperer?
Monty Roberts.
Monty Roberts. He ran his horse farm. I mean, he can do multi.
Well, that's not quite true, but
well,
close to it.
Close to it. But I mean, this guy loves to sail. He rides on a hunt. He can train. I mean, he has multi things he can fall back on. Me, what am I going to fall back on? What are you going to fall back on?
This business from day one, I couldn't get enough of it. And that's the thing is like Joe, you're what? How many years in this?
70 years.
70 years.
13, and I'm
And let me
70,
ask you
83.
this. Did you figure it all out yet? No. So that's
Always a challenge.
that challenge every day, another horse, another pup. That's the beauty of it. It's like it's endless learning.
I tell you, besides all that, me, I mean, where can a guy go out and have a pickup truck, go to some of the nice, get out of there, get down, some of the nicest places on Long Island or any place, horse farms, deal with people that are very wealthy, deal with beautiful horses, beautiful, and make the crazy money. And if you want to stop for coffee, you stop for coffee. If you don't like the client, you fire him. Where can a guy, unless you president of the United States, where can you make that kind of
And
money?
that's the beauty too. Like, now I might have to do 7, 8 horses in a day or whatever. But when you get a little older, a little achier, go out and do 3 horses and make
2 horses.
and make a damn good living. And hopefully you're
Where can you
But-
make the money you're making?
But don't get us wrong. It is a business. You have to pay your mortgage. You have to feed your family. You have to put a roof over your head. You have to put your kids through college. You need to be a smart businessman. And my advice is to young farriers coming in is to be smart right from the get-go, get in good business habits right from the get-go.
I was very, very lucky. I worked for Milton Potter, Jerry Levitt, a guy named Eddie. I got the best advice. They were hardworking. They never went on vacation, and they put away money. And I had a great accountant that got me started. At that time, you could put $2,000 a year away tax-free if you were self-employed, and blah 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 blah. And I learned my lesson well, and I put a lot of money away, but for the day, like now. And I think guys today, they should think about retirement. You've got to put money away. You've got to have money away because, all right, I love shoeing horses, but supposing I couldn't shoe horses, and I'm broke, and I got no money. Now what? Welcome to Walmart. you know, so you got to be smart. You got to make good investments, and you got to put money away. Even though you're making gobs of money, you break your leg and you're laid up, or you lose a big account. That goes pretty quick. It can go the other way. What do you think, Deanie? You?
Well, it's in my head. I think this sums it up perfect out of Bruce Daniels' book, Sunday on the Farm. I don't know if anybody has that, but in the first page, or whatever it says, patience with determination and strength with gentleness. That really pretty much sums it up. I kind of added confidence without cockiness. I think those 3 things are a good guide. Patience with determination, strength with gentleness, confidence without cockiness. And the other thing, like Joe, we were talking about health and all, take care of your body. We're all guilty of overworking. Because when you're starting out, you're working for somebody, then at night you're going to do your 1 horse or the weekend. You got to take care of this thing. I'm paying for it.
You got to be lucky.
Yeah.
Most of it, luck. You can do everything right and still end up with bad kidneys or this or that or heart problems and stuff. Even if you do it,
family first.
Yeah.
Too. We all.
but or you could be like Rich Clobber and just inherit a lot of money.
2 things that I actually learned in horseshoeing school from Hall of Famer Gene Armstrong, and it applies more to the horseshoeing. Keep it simple, stupid. Not always. And I think those 2 things will carry me to the day I die. Advice, again, be a good businessman, getting good habits from day 1. And what these gentlemen just said, you got to take care of your body. You're an athlete, and you need to train like an athlete. Stretch, do exercises. Have to take care of your body because it is your boss.
A guy told me a long time ago, if you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And there's very few days, I'm not saying every day, that I get up and go, oh, shoot, I got to go here today. I got, Yeah, there are days. I mean, it's 5 degrees out. Do you really want to go shoe a horse? But for the most part, you go to a day like today and you're pulling a big, beautiful farm and there's horses and there's people. And it's a beautiful atmosphere. You're not going to Walmart. You're not stuck in a little shop somewhere. You get to drive around. I mean, where can you do that? And make a living and actually get paid.
One thing that shows how great this industry is. I can go almost anywhere in the world or any place in the United States, call up a local farrier and say, I'm a farrier from New York or from this place. I'd love to spend the day just watching you work. And most of them will say yes. What other industry can you do that? As a doctor? As an architect? Probably not so much.
Another piece of advice too is like, I'm guilty of this, is jumping to these people, you know, sacrificing a little too. You have to give good service, especially in the
Yes,
show world.
yes.
You know, they're going to a show Monday and you got to show up Sunday. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we all do that.
I jumped a little too quick sometimes, and you want to give good service. But
I got a sign in the back of my truck. Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Right.
That's a great sign. What?
You're in a business that has.
What made you get into business?
You want to sit here for a minute?
No.
You want this?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't need it. So go ahead. Joe is.
I want to know what got Jude involved in horseshoeing. Is in the background? Did you ride horses? Did your father have horses? What made you get into this business? Because you're a well-educated guy, you could have probably done anything you wanted.
Really, you know, when I was 5, I had it set in my mind that I want to be a New York City police officer. I had a number of uncles in my family, cousins. It was sort of like a family thing. We had cops and we had these guys. Anybody who doesn't know who these guys are, look it up. You know, and my Uncle Frank was a mounted cop in New York City, and there was something about my Uncle Frank that I really admired. He was like the coolest guy, and I just have these memories of him. He would we lived with my grandmother at the time in Brooklyn, and his post was in Prospect Park. And he would come and tie up the horse, have lunch with my grandmother. And somehow I just remember him, like I would always be saying to my uncles, my Uncle Sal, my Uncle Angelo, my Uncle Jerry, Uncle Frank, you know, I want to be a cop too. I want to be a cop too. And long story short, he used to whisper in my ear, you want to be a mounted cop. You want to be a mounted cop. So that started the whole dream of getting on the job, which I did, riding horses, getting involved with horses. And unfortunately, the job just didn't go in the direction that I had hoped it would have gone in, and I made a decision at some point that I was going to leave. The horses brought me a lot of peace. Riding brought me a lot of peace, and having been exposed to guys like Tom Hannaberry in New York and all, and a couple of the other guys, I always was interested in the shoeing.
Did you ever meet a guy named Brad Sullivan?
No.
He was a black mounted, and then he became a blacksmith.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I didn't. I never met Brad, but because I had horses and I was a way of saving money, and I figured like I'm going to use my brawn for some good. I sort of went in a very circuitous route when I knew I couldn't sell horses, when I knew I wasn't going to be very good at teaching the ladies lessons.
And you didn't want to become a vet?
I knew going back to vet school didn't seem realistic at that point in my life. That I got into the shoeing, and I worked with the guy Jim Cahill for a number of years. And from Jim, I worked for a guy, Tom Cianello. And from Tom Cianello, I went to work for Seamus. And at some point, working for Seamus, for people that don't know who Seamus Brady was, he was like the team Farrier. He was one of these guys that he was making more money than anybody else.
The president.
He was just a really amazing character. I just came to recognize, like, okay, if I can't make it in the ring, maybe I'll make it as a farrier.
Yeah, that's mine. I wanted to do something around horses, and I wasn't smart enough to be a vet. And the easiest way was get a $400 pickup and some tools and go shoe horses. And I was, where else can you go in business for a couple $100? No, it's the greatest business in the world. If there's young people out there, if you got ambition and you're willing to work, where can you go in business? You don't have to pay $500 or $5,000 a month for rent on a bill. When you get done Friday night, you shut that truck off. You don't have to feed it, don't have to water it. It's not going to get bad. It's not vegetables or fruit or anything like that. But you got to work. You can't fake it. But if you're willing to work, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. You don't have to go out and buy a $50,000 truck. I started out, my truck was $400 and a cap, and you're in business.
A little tolerance for pain too.
Yeah.
But I mean, where can a guy? You got these kids today. They go to school. They get out of school. They got $300,000. What do you call it? Bills,
Loans.
loans,
Student loans.
and they got a diploma in oceanography. If they get a job, it's 25, 30 grand a year. Hello, you better. What happened to being a plumber, electrician? They're needed. But car mechanic gets $100 an hour. I mean, I think
cheap car.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, the guy working for the guy that owns the shop, the guy in the shop, my guy, he gets $200 an hour. The big guy, but he charged me 120. But I mean, still.
Now you want the truth? Jude and I got into this with Ford Porsches.
What car? You got that? I want to talk about cars. You got any cars?
Cut that out.